Hi, welcome to LS1, Can We Mutate? Another way out of climate change. So one of the things we should look at here is that the actual requirement is that we talk about DNA to codons to amino acid sequences, or basically proteins. So that's how the actual cell changes. So the process is to move from DNA to RNA to proteins. And protein is also the same stuff that we're eating. When you eat meat, you eat proteins. Wait, if you missed it, here we go. So we're starting with the DNA, which is the actual material, genetic material you have inside your cell. We're moving from that to RNA, which is the transcription, or basically the writing of that DNA onto a single strand. And then that's translated into proteins. The problem is that you have 4 nucleotides, basically 4 pieces of DNA or RNA, and that has to become 20 proteins. So the way we do that is we shift from DNA up here to RNA right next, and then that goes into proteins. But you notice the RNA actually is grouped in little groups of 3, which are called codons. So proteins to codons. So codons basically are groups of 3 of the little amino acids of the RNA, and each one of them becomes a protein, but not uniquely. If you notice, there's a bunch of different 3s, UUU, UUC, UUA. You do all of those actually become a single, like these 2 become phenylalanine, these 2 become serine. One you might be more familiar with is, say, tryptophan is actually UGG. So tryptophan is the precursor to serotonin. That is created by U, G, and G on that. The grouping makes the endoplasmic reticulum of your cells create the tryptophan protein. So can you use this DNA to actually modify or mutate humans? It's possible that because we actually have the American cockroach has a lot of DNA. One of the things the American cockroach can do that we can't do currently is have the ability to regenerate their own limbs. So if you cut off a cockroach's leg, it literally will regenerate that leg. It would be kind of cool if you had somebody cut off their arm, if the arm could actually regenerate itself. Kind of gross as it went, but it'd be very cool when it actually did that. Turns out that that same process that happens on the cockroach actually occurs on the 18th chromosome of your DNA. There's a big chunk in here where it can actually become that same. If you activate it, you could actually regenerate your own limbs. And one of the things you do to do that is you actually can use this DPP and MAD, which are actually the cockroach's version, can actually correspond to a human version of human SMAD4. When you take that SMAD4, it actually affects that same activation that you would find in the cockroach. So it's technically possible to put a lot more SMAD4 into somebody's cells and have them regenerate their limbs, which would be very cool. Here's the SMAD4 in action, moving in, activating within the cell. It comes in, it tells the body, hey, make more of this particular type of protein mix, and it tells the DNA to activate that much more actively. And if you did that, you might be able to regrow your arm or leg. So can't that be used, to say, as an anti-cancer therapy to be used to modify humans? We don't know yet. That's on to the next lecture, which is not required. But if you finish this far and you've got time, it'd be great to keep going because we're going to talk about how to mutate humans a lot more. Thanks for coming.